a single person, except for one girl in my class when I went to Hebrew school, whose dad was a raw vegan. And she used to bring, when it was pizza day, she used to bring raw vegan pizza to school. And I thought it was the most astonishing, unique, incredible thing. That was at the time. It was astonishing and unique and incredible. Cut to 20 years later, it's a trend. And it was one that I took up when I started to become healthy. And once I stopped consuming dairy, that was the real game changer for my life, because I had a lot of hormonal imbalance issues, a lot of depression, and a lot of issues that were from dairy that completely disappeared when I stopped eating dairy. I had issues with a lot of things, like just like skin issues, just a whole hair, just dryness of hair, all kinds of things that cleared themselves up when I stopped eating certain foods. When I stopped eating processed wheat, it cleared up my skin, and it made my hair not as brittle. It made my skin tighter. And then when I stopped eating dairy, that just changed my whole hormones, and everything in a way that was so astronomical that I just couldn't go back. Once I started becoming active as far as working out, that's when I really felt the need to reintroduce protein into my system. Every once in a while, I had to have some salmon or tuna, or my mind would just stop functioning. Like I would just, and I'm the kind of person where I really don't want to eat the animal, so I would push it off to the last minute till my brain was so foggy and my body couldn't even move. And then finally I would break down and eat the salmon, and then it would be like I was born again. Like the life would come back to me. And that was when I realized that like I shouldn't beat myself up for having to consume the flesh of some living creature every once in a while, and always being respectful of the animal. And that is the most important thing. And so throughout my life, I've gone a lot of stints being completely vegan. And when I live in a house, it is a lot easier for me to be a vegan. Even as an exercising person, it's a lot easier. Out here, living out under the elements where I'm constantly moving, it is impossible. I was a vegan for the first few years of living out, and I ended up with anemia and several other stomach issues that I just could not fix until I started reintroducing salmon into my system. And I am eternally grateful that they even exist, and that I could find a symbiosis with another living being that I could also use as a food source. And for me, a true herbivore at heart, a brontosaurus, if anything else, that's a big deal. And I truly do, I mentioned this before, or I will mention it again, depending on how I edit this video, I truly do love and admire these fish. Salmon and tuna are extraordinary fish. They're unbelievably intelligent. That's what I love about them. A lot of people will tell you about how intelligent something is, and that's why you shouldn't consume it. But a lot of the time, that is what is giving you so much energy for your life force to continue. And that's why you should be very, very careful with what you consume and how it was slaughtered, especially if it is a complex mammal like a cow or a pig. They do not obviously have the same type of brain as a human being, because they are not made in the image of a god, but they are made with more heart-centered God energy than humans, and they deserve our heart-centered energy as the quote-unquote top of the food chain, the higher thinking beings. It is up to us to show compassion to everything below us, because below us is not beneath us. And that is the most important thing when it comes to especially veganism for the sake of animals. And that is all for that segment. Okay. And then another part is like, I really, really love animals, and I'm really not a people person. So the emotion that most people have for other people, I have for the animals, and I am a very emotional person. So like my feelings are very, very strong and very passionate. And so some of these topics mean so very much to me and really just break my heart. Like for example, I will just say, something that I don't even like to talk about very often because of how horrendous it makes me feel is the slaughter of specifically pigs. Just because as an empathic person, their energy is so strong that they're not food, number one. They're medical grade. They weren't bred for food. They were bred, like, because you can use parts of a pig, oddly enough, for human applications when it comes to medicine. They're not to be eaten. I'm sure in desperation somebody ate one at some point, and people have done that before, and they do smell good when you cook them, and that's the thing. But they're very highly sentient. And I can hear, like, if there's a story in the Bible with Cain and Abel. Obviously, Cain kills Abel, and God didn't know that. He heard Abel's blood crying out from the earth. And that is kind of how I feel with the pigs. I can hear their blood crying from the earth. Like, they are not to be slaughtered. And the interesting thing is, all evolved creatures, all evolved beings on planet Earth, I'm talking about human beings who are evolved to a certain level, of all religions and all types, can agree on one thing. They cannot agree on a prophet, they cannot agree on a dogma, but they can all agree that you should not consume the flesh of swine. I mean, across the planet, once a person reaches a certain level of enlightenment, they realize that you should not consume the flesh of swine. It's a spiritual thing. I promise you. I promise you. And no offense to anybody who really loves bacon and things like that. I understand where you're coming from. However, they are not food grade animals, and you're not supposed to be eating them. That is just going to be the first part. There we go. I happen to be a person who really would prefer to be a vegan because I don't want to see anything die. I don't even like to watch a bug kill a smaller bug. I'm the type of person where if I see a bug caught in a spider web and I can tell the spider's not coming back, I will try to free the bug. I don't like to watch National Geographic because I don't want to see the tiger eat the gazelle. I don't want any of that. I think this whole place is a little bit too brutal. And so I'm one of those people. However, especially living outside, I have to consume the flesh of something at some point as a protein source. I'm 45 years old. I've tried everything that I can. I happen to very much love and admire the fish that I eat. I happen to regularly and pretty much only eat tuna and salmon. I think that salmon are some of the coolest fish. If you study them, they're amazing. The way they spawn, the way they swim, they're beautiful fish. And tuna are brilliant. They're some of the smartest fish out there. It's a freshwater fish and a saltwater fish. I love these fish. And I promise you, every single one of them that has ever been consumed by me has had its life honored. I'm one of these people where I don't often pray over my food. I wish I did. I wish I remembered to do it more often, but I don't, unless I am consuming the flesh of a living thing, and I never forget. And I truly love these creatures. I love and admire these creatures, and I am grateful that they exist on this earth, especially in the number that they do, so that I can have the flesh of some of them on occasion so that I may sustain my life. There's nothing more beautiful than that. And as a person who would prefer not to do it, that's the way to make peace with it. Make peace with the literal life that's being taken that's on your plate. That's all you have to do. It's so simple. It's so very simple. And then really try and respect where it came from, because I, would love to be the type of person who could go catch a fish. I think I don't even know that I could do that. Like, I almost feel bad sometimes because I feel like if in order to really, really earn your right to eat it, you should at least once in your life catch it and kill it. And I don't even know that I can do that, but I would rather just be eating leaves. But the point is, I am a person who has the utmost respect for animals, and I even have the respect for the animals that I have to consume on occasion. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as your heart is in the right place, as long as you are really making a conscious decision about what you're putting into your body, whether it is flesh or process or whatever it is. And just make sure that if it is life force, show it some respect. And that is just the circle of life. And that's the beautiful thing about being a human, is that we can assign these characteristics and really give all of this emotion to something that is a little less sentient. And that's the beauty of it. And don't waste it just by mindlessly just consuming whatever. All right. The sun is really going down, so I must continue this. And this is more parts. So there's more parts. So I will continue it later. Love you. Bye.